You're listening to the House Guy and Home Girl podcast, a podcast about real estate and real life. As realtors, home builders, and real estate investors, Jon and Kim keep it real. Former teachers turned real estate professionals, they have a heart for helping others. Join them each week as they discuss all things home. And now, here's your hosts, Jon and Kim.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's show of the House Guy and Home Girl podcast. I'm Jon the House Guy here with my lovely co-host,
Kim the Home Girl.
And we're happy to have you joining us today. We're going to talk a little bit about what we've been kind of working on this week in the world of real estate development, real estate investing, just a lot of different things we kind of got going on. And but first of all, Kim, how are you doing? I know you've been working late nights and early mornings here lately, so how you holding up? How's your week going?
Well, I've got currently 4 loads of laundry to fold, so it's been good. You know, I'm still milling and struggling to pick a house plan. So, and you know, I'm a little OCD about things, and I truly believe, and I guess that's where my faults are, I truly believe that there is like this perfect house plan out there. So that's what I've been.
You're a bit of a unicorn hunter, as we say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're always like, when we look for a house to buy, we look for a house to build. When we look for,
and this is not a house that we're going to live in, but I want to make it. It's a house that we're just going to build and sell to somebody. But I want this house to be perfect, you know, and I know there's no such thing as a perfect plan, but I want it to have everything that somebody is looking for, because, you know, if I were the person that were, you know, buying this new house, I would want it to have all these features and be able to accommodate my family and my needs, and so I want that same thing for other people, and I know that it's out there. So I keep looking at plans and kind of, you know, mashing up things and ideas, and you know, I keep going back to this one central thing of, you know, for me, and it may not be for you, and that's why we're gonna talk a little bit here in a second about things. Jon did a survey on the internet there, but a really big factor for me is a big living room, a big family room. So anyways,
yeah, and I keep telling you, right, like, your perfect house is not going to be everybody else's perfect house, right? So I guess the thing to talk through today, like you said, a big living room. What are some of the things?
So okay, I didn't even ask you about your week. How's your week good? How's your week going?
It's good. It's been a good week. We got a couple deals coming down the pike that are. You
got a pretty little house in Tuscumbia up for sale, yeah.
Listed that house this week
with a pool.
Yeah.
Jump on that.
Yeah, pretty.
It's not impending yet, so
it will be soon. Though,
it will be. I know it's got
it
some. It
probably
lookers.
will be by the time this airs.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a great house, and cool thing about that is the lady that's selling that house is going to build a house with us.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
That's kind of her trajectory there. So we're excited to do that back in kind of my stomping grounds, back in New Bethel, up the mountain. Right, I love it up there. So
it is pretty.
Excited to spend some time going back and forth up there. In the coming year to build that house. And she's been going through kind of the same things that you have too, right? With picking her house plan, working through her details of exactly what fits her family and her lifestyle, what she's got going on. So I guess kind of circle that straight back to you, you know, like what are the things that you're trying to find in a plan, right? That if you saw it, you would go, that's it. That's perfect. Because you sent me one last night, all right, and I was like, "What? What's the problem with this plan? This is great."
Well, let me just say first that this particular client that Jon has is already 5 steps in front of me because I've not released control. Her plan, and she's building a barn dominium, and it's going to be really. I'm really excited about her build, but she has released control to the architect already, so he is actually. You know, she's given him what she wants, and then he's gonna draw it up for.
Yeah, she's in first revisions already. She's already got her
Exactly.
up
That's why I
there.
say 5 steps in front of me, because I'm still like, looking through the internet. Okay, I don't have a degree in architectural design or any of that, but I do know that it's a science and that there is a really good layout with the right amount of square footage, because you have to look at all those things. And you have to look at purpose and what your lifestyle is going to be. And like you say, what is the most important thing for me? And I have to go back to that living room, a really nice big family room where people can gather and, just get them out of the bedrooms. And, like, I don't want I want to have a place where they can share memories. I love that. We had a house one time, about 3 houses back, and we had this grand living room. I mean, but I didn't realize what an asset it was at the time, but it was like something like 25 by...
It was like 22. It wasn't...
It was 22 by 25. It was huge, John.
It was a big living room.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like a... Yeah.
Anyways, we spent so much time in there, brought Nora home from the hospital there. We were always in that family room. So I think back and, that's what I want, again, because... as I'm looking at plans and things like that, the modern trend now is, to make the master bedroom bigger, which is okay too, but you don't want to get too caught up in that space. You don't want to spend too much time in your, you know what I mean? You don't want to spend too much time in your bedroom, I don't think.
So let's stop right there. You're evaluating these plans, master bedroom.
And I mean, I am like, y'all, I'll look at every plan, and there's a couple of specs that I have to make sure before I even really start looking hard, looking into them. I mean, it takes me about a total of, I would say, 7 minutes to really start like, this may work.
So
what are they?
Master bedroom, you got some dimensions in mind, what you think is ideal, right? And you're looking at that first. Tell us, what are you looking at?
Oh, no. Okay, let me just say.
On the master bedroom, what are you looking at as far as size-wise to say, okay, that plan, I think we'll go further, look at it a little further, or no, this is out?
So let me go and say, what is the first thing I look at?
Okay.
What is the first thing I look at? So, definitely.
Wait, let me do it. What's the first thing you look at?
Okay. Well, actually, I'm what can I not change? And something that I cannot change, I have no control over changing, is the lot specs. I can't change the width of the lot, the depth of the lot, where it is.
Well, you've certainly been trying.
I know. But anyways, I have a specific number that, and it's primarily how wide my lot is that I'm kind of constricted on
this particular
build, because I need a driveway and I need to be able to get a car in. So I have to look and make sure the lot width is correct, and then I look to see if it's got a bonus room, because that's really important to me too. Because if you've got kids or even grandkids, you want a place. Which a bonus room has a lot of potential and a lot of different purposes that it can be used for, but that is very important to a house. I think if you add a bonus room to where you can move around, and it's really, it can act as so many different things: an extra bedroom, a den, a playroom, a guest room, So I think that is my next thing that I look at.
Let's go back to that driveway for a minute. Let's just kind of quantify that, talk about that, right? So what I've been explaining to Kim, and it's something for you to consider if you're building a house, right?
Yes.
Our particular lot that we're trying to build, right, is in a subdivision, and it has restrictions for the boundaries, right? So we have to have a setback on the side of at least 15 feet on one side, right, on the property line. So we have to make sure we get that far off the property line. The driveway can go, but the structure can't. So we get that far off. Then you got the width of the house, and then we're going to try to put a garage on the side of the house, which means you have to have a wider driveway so you can get in and out of the garage. So you have to have 30 feet there. So if we have let's say we have a 100-foot lot, right, and we have to be 15 feet off, and we need 30 feet over here. We only have 60 feet with which to sit a house in and still be able to put the garage, what we call it, side shot garage, right? If you want to put the garage on the side, not straight pulling into it, but where you come around to the side, and it looks more like the house is, makes your house look bigger is what it does if you put the garage on the side. You're going to need room for that wider driveway so you can get in and out of there. So
now, why do you have to explain real quick, like where do you get that 30 and 15 number?
So the 15 on our particular, and our lot back there is 130, right? So it's a little bit wider, so it's going to probably work, but the 15 is from the covenants and restrictions in the neighborhood, right? It just says, hey, you got to be this far off your neighbor.
And building codes.
Well, to a certain extent, yes, building codes. But if you're out in the county, it doesn't really matter, right? I mean,
you're not going to be right next to your neighbor out in the country, though, in the middle of a field.
Put 2 trailers back to back if you want to in the county. You know what I mean? Put a hallway between them. But in the city, you have certain setbacks for your utilities. You have setbacks from off your neighbor's lot in the covenants and restrictions. So all that plays into it, right? And then the other side is 30 feet is just basically what you got to have according to our driveway contractor. This is how much room you need to get a car in and out. So you can, like, even on our driveway, we have to kind of pull in, back up, and straighten up to get back in. So that being said, you got basically 30 on one side, 15 on the other. You take 45 off, and then your house has got to fit in the middle there somewhere, right? So that's kind of what that does.
And 2, I like to shift when we do build. I like to shift a house like as far over as I can on the lot without making it look, too close to a neighbor. Just because if somebody did decide to put in a detached garage later, they could do that. That I didn't hamper and put a house in, and then there's no way to get a detach in. So I really like to do that. We did that on a couple of houses back, and they decided not to do it, but I think it's in the plans for them to do it.
Maybe. Eventually they're going to.
Yeah. So, but that's an option for them now. If we had have situated the house a little closer, to the left of this particular lot, then they would, couldn't do that. So I always try to give people that option too. But in doing that, then there's something else to think about, like you can make your house kind of compact. It doesn't have to be the width of a typical house, I'm going to say, is about 60 to 75-ish.
I don't know. You've looked at probably 750 plans.
I know. That's what I'm going to say. And, if you want to get a smaller, compact house, then it's going to be you look at, a lot of the bedrooms on the upper floor. That's what I've got into. So
yeah, if you're more narrow, you go up.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyways,
to get the number of square foot that we're trying to get, we're looking for like 2,500 to 3,000 square foot is what we're trying to build back here.
Right.
On this coming.
So the new plans, though, like when you look for a house, a lot of the architects today are steering away from the more traditional brick look, and it's all farmhouse, and where that comes from, TV and just culture in general, like
Chip and Joanna.
Yeah, and I really like them, I do, but like I also like a traditional look as well, and
we
I
should
like
get them on the show.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I
bet they have time for my rumbling and like this girl just is crazy.
Magnolia Network. That's what we're.
They are really neat. In saying that, and I don't want to just go around in circles, but there was, y'all, and you can Google this and look it up, but there is a house plan out there that's, that you can pull up, and there is a silo in the front, like built into this house plan. And it was popular. Like, people are buying a house design with a silo in the top. Anyways, that is way too far for me. But anyways, moving on. Talking about the house plan, though. So I have to make sure the width is correct, and then I want to make sure it has a bonus room, and that it has a decent family room. And all the plans now, like the family room is getting smaller and smaller. And they are.
Well, that's a a casualty of that open concept stuff, right?
It is.
And I think we're seeing that kind of go away a little bit now, right? And so we're going to see, I think, a trend going back towards a little bit larger family room.
I do too.
The open concept was like, well, you got your kitchen there, people sit in the kitchen and whatever, and it's like, you know, you get dining room, kitchen,
really
living
eats
room,
into
it's
your,
all one big area.
Yeah, it eats into your square footage, though, and that's the problem, and that's the rub, you know, so... but I mean, y'all, if it's got like 15, if the family room is like 15 by 16, I'm not looking any further. Like that's the third thing on my list. And I'm like, no, moving on, you know. But they're making the family room smaller and then they're adding a bedroom. You know, so, you know, that comes from blended families and I get it. You know, people do need the space and people want their own space. You know, back in the day, it was a no-brainer for, you know, 3 or 4 kids to share or 3 kids to share a bedroom, at least 2. You know, me and my sister, we shared a bedroom, even though we had a 4-bedroom house growing up. We still shared a bedroom, you know. And then we had that other room as just a room. And then when I got older, I had my own room. But anyways, I get it. Like, they do want that extra space. And then something you and I talked about, I found this plan that I really liked. And, that you really liked. And I've got so many plans that I've kind of liked. I've just got to narrow it down and decide. But, I mean, like, I think the deal is once it goes to the architect or once we hit buy, like, it's a done deal. And, like, I still haven't found the perfect house plan. But anyways.
I was looking at that sign that says, "For I know the plans I have for you." And I'm like, you need to adopt that scripture.
I do, yes. But the house plan I've found one that you like, and I'm kind of on the fence about. It's got an open dining room connected to the living room. And, I mean, it's clearly a dining room on the plan. You know, you can't make it anything else, really, because it is open on both sides, and the other 2 sides are sheetrock to wall. But we had talked about turning it into a study, just simply because, like, there's so many people that work from home these days.
It's become a new, well, it's, you know, since COVID, right? A lot of remote workers, and then people don't want to go back, you know, and they kind of found out, hey, we can do this from home. So, and companies are getting rid of their commercial space and office space. And so, yeah, working from home has definitely gained popularity.
And then, you know, and so that house may work, but it's so similar to the house we just built. And I do like that house that we just built. And so that brings me to my next question. How much square footage is a perfect amount? And when you're builders, there's a number, okay? Because we're not obviously moving into the house. We're selling it. So we can't go over and we don't want to go under. So there is a magic number, and we want to accommodate our clients and the buying pool, but at the same time, we don't want to lose our tails either.
It's a perfect fit, right? Like a perfect fit for that particular lot is what we're looking for, or that particular where you're building. You know, it's like it needs to go along with the community or the subdivision,
right?
You know,
well, and HOA,
but highest and best use, right? Like in other words, hey, this is a lot we paid X number of dollars for. We want to maximize that because we've invested our money and our time into that build. Right. And so if we leave 200 square feet off, that's 200 square feet that we didn't make the money for, you know. Right. And we could have just as simply added it, you know. So. And
then, like, you know, if there was a place up top that we could have just added some more structure to make it.
Yeah, push a wall out or move the roof line a little bit, make the bonus room a little larger. That's added square footage, right?
Right.
Yeah, so.
Efficiency is what you're looking for on that. But going to Facebook, you have you had a little poll going.
Yeah, I put out a post earlier in the week just saying, hey, how much square footage do you have?
What's your ideal square footage? And a lot of people responded, y'all. Like, there was a lot of people that responded and kind of said, you know, it was 4 days ago that you said that. But anyways, and it varied a lot. And I think it goes back to, you know, all the reasons in choosing square footage, your purpose, lifestyle, efficiency, budget, and all, you know, all those things that play into finding the perfect square footage. But let's see here.
I think one thing to me that stood out in that whole, like, if we're just summarizing everybody's thoughts on it, I don't see really anybody saying, I wish I had less.
That's right.
Right? Like,
Right.
I wish
I was
my
about to
house
say
was
that.
just didn't
Every
have
single
that much space.
person is just like a tiny bit, like a bonus room short of the perfect. However, let me just go, so Les and Amber Butte said we have around 1,600 square feet, and they would love to have 2,000, which is about a bonus room.
Right.
It really is. Or another 2 bedrooms, or a little bit bigger family room and another bedroom. Emily Rode and Kelly said we have 3,900 square feet. We're a family of 5, and that's plenty big, but it's a lot to clean.
Right.
Now, 3,900 square feet, guys, like that, that's a little too big for us. You know, that's like a forever home, a custom home that we would gladly build for you. But to go out and build that and hope to have a buyer, fingers crossed, you know, that limits our buyers that are able to buy that much of a house. But she likes it. You know, it accommodates her.
Well, and then, like, you know, that's to me, of all those people, she's the only person that said anything, you know, kind of negative about having lots of space. And that's something to consider, right? Like,
That's true.
Because I think, to me, what I think about the square footage conversation is this. People are going to always feel like they need more square footage, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason is because when you get that empty square footage, you find some way to fill it up. And then you're like, I need somewhere to put this. I need somewhere to put this. Oh, okay. Now we got this room.
The 2 storage buildings that you currently are paying rental fees
Oh, my
on
goodness.
monthly. Now, we don't do that now, but
We did.
We did for a long time, and a lot of people are doing that. So, you know, you don't need as much stuff as you think you need. And
and I think that's it. You know, like, I think people just fill up the space that they have, you know.
Right.
It's kind of like you live on what you make when you're getting paid a salary or whatever. It's like, oh, at the end of the week, this is how much money I got. When you make some more money, at the end of the week, you still have the same left.
Right.
Because you're going to spend what you make.
And when we moved back to the Shoals area, you know, we didn't know where we were going to move, and Jon had already got a job here, and so we had to move very quickly because you had to start band camp. But anyways, we moved and found a rental.
In July, in the sweltering Alabama
it was so hot, y'all.
Shout out to Jake Curtis and Jeremy Thickpen for helping us move.
Definitely my parents. But anyway, so we lived in this rental, but we only like unboxed like half of the stuff that we had, and everything else stayed. It was a big garage that particular house had, but I can't remember the square footage on that house.
That's about 1,600 square foot.
I mean, it was just a normal.
Or was it even that much?
I don't know. It was a normal house. It was a 3-2.
It's like a 3-2 rancher from the 70s.
Yes, from the 70s. Y'all, I have never been I could clean my house in like an hour. I mean, it was so, and like the peace that I got. I mean, Emmett was what, 5? Yes,
he was a kindergartner.
Yes, so he had plenty of toys. So we had 2 bedrooms were currently, you know, they had beds in them, and then the other room, I think, had boxes, and it wasn't even a toy room or anything. So but I only got out like literally like it may have even been like a quarter of the stuff that we had. I did have a home office in that particular house.
Just a little nook, a corner desk with a little nook.
Yeah. But I mean, that house was perfect. And like the square footage was just about 1,000 less than what I have currently. And it feels like I don't even have that much now, but it's all the stuff I have. So if you're struggling a little bit,
heavier now
we had another kid, but you know, getting rid of stuff can really lighten the load. So before you decide to build, you know, you may want to like scale back and see, you know, what can you get rid of. Anyways, let me go back before I leave this post.
And then thinking about that too, you know, like that house, it's not even necessarily, when you're thinking about layout, it's not necessarily the amount of space, it's the amount of stuff, but also that house was really laid out well, right?
Mm-hmm. Like it really was.
It was really.
But going back, I can't build a house like that.
No.
Today, because it will be frowned upon. Like nobody wants a galley kitchen and a little bitty closet washer and dryer, you know. Nobody wants a tiny small master bedroom suite to where you're like you get out of the shower, you turn, you brush your teeth. You know, you can touch the toilet. You know, like nobody wants that today.
And to be fair, we lived there for 3 months.
Yes,
it wasn't like we lived
true.
there long
And if
term.
I did get out all my stuff, I couldn't, you know, but just a little bit bigger. But before I leave this post, I have to give a shout out to Vicky Howell. She posted that her square footage, it's verbatim, just perfect for us at whatever ours is. 2,700 ? She's a family of 5. She just had a new baby too, but that's awesome. That makes me feel so good because we built her house. Her house is a revamp from our house, to where we pushed out some walls and made a little more space, made it bigger, gave her a bonus room, and she says it's perfect. So that's awesome. That's great to hear. So, you know, and we are going to build that house, that floor plan again.
Mike Holmes kind of sums up what I was saying, which is George Carlin says it's never big enough. It's because you always fill it with stuff, right? So you're always going to add. You're going, and I agree with that. You know, I think that's the way it's going to be. So going forward now, some of those house plans that you're looking at, I know we talked about the size. We talked about the bonus room, having areas for storage. Talk about bedroom sizes, master bedroom sizes, and also kids' bedrooms, guest bedrooms. What, you know, I know some of those plans go as far as like making a guest bedroom or a kid's bedroom 8 by 8. You know, which is like, it's like a literal prison cell.
Well, here's where I really have a problem, and there are several plans out there that have this. People are going crazy, cuckoo. I mean, like losing their mind, and I couldn't do this and like sleep at night. And I know that's like crazy, but seriously, this is real. Like people that are building these like over the top master closets with an island and like a chandelier, and which is fine. If you've got the money for that, go for it. You know, if by all means, you know, that's a luxury and an added factor. But if that master closet is bigger than your kid's bedroom, that's a problem. Yes,
that's probably some of them are like that.
They are.
And you've got another.
They really are.
You've really got another room to clean at that point when your closet is that
and
big.
if you are choosing a plan and that is on your plan and you get so caught up in that, be very careful because you may want to put that house on the market one day and you may not have as many kids or no kids. You got your kids raised and this or that, but somebody's coming to buy that house if you put it for sale, and that kid doesn't want that little bedroom. So
So what do you think the size needs to be at a minimum? Let's talk about a kid's bedroom first.
I know that Emmett's bedroom right now is a 16 by 12, and he has a queen size bed, which is, you know, a bigger bed than a kid's bedroom normally.
He's got some pretty big furniture too.
He does have a lot of big furniture, but I don't know. Like, I think maybe somewhere like a 16 by 14 or 15, and those really don't exist. Those are considered master level.
And I think his room is ideal size.
Yeah. Nora's room is a little smaller to me. I don't know. Like, and that's something, you know, if you are interested in bigger kids' bedrooms, you may want to go and look at a more traditional house plan, because in comparing the two, the traditional house plans, the bedrooms are like 15 by 13-ish, you know, 15 by 14. The bedrooms are a little bit bigger. The living rooms are a little bit bigger, but the kitchens are not as big, and they're not as open in the traditional homes. And I don't necessarily I'm not totally against a closed off kitchen. You know, my problem now is, you know, if there's dirty dishes, then everybody sees it.
That
you walk through the front door, everybody sees it. So, but I'm almost scared to build a traditional house, even though, like, I know that when a traditional house plan goes on the market, y'all, they show so beautifully. They're, you know, it's accommodating. There seems to be always enough room. You know, there really does.
Right.
Now, granted, there are some walls that people, you know, always say, well, I'm going to take this wall down or that wall.
Boy, I tell you what, if everybody could just take walls down.
I know. And we've even done it before.
I get so aggravated when you go to show a house, though.
And they start talking about,
like, you're going to take this wall down.
I wouldn't say every house that I've shown, but I would say at least half. Every time I show a house, they're talking about making a wall or adding on.
Can you take this wall down or add on?
Or add on,
yeah. This is the square footage thing. Goes
So
back
that's
to that,
something,
right?
yeah. So that's something to think about. So that's why I'm on the search for the perfect house
goodness.
plan. And we kind of did a podcast about, choosing a house plan and going into the different options. But when you're choosing the plan, not necessarily the things that go in it, and the fixtures and the all of the flooring and
The finishes.
the finishes and all that. When I guess this should have been first in choosing the floor plan, because there's so many things to consider. And I don't know if you're like me, but like I said, a big family room is very important to me.
So let's just kind of get this thing wrapped up here. Again, once you pick the plan, one or two things are going to happen. Either you're going to buy the plan, right? Just go online, click buy, and we can start from there.
I
Or
don't think I'll ever do that though. Okay.
if you want to bump out a wall,
I know.
something that aggravates me really, really bad. But
Or move a door.
If you want to modify the plan, then we need to put you in touch with our architect to start working through that process, and that adds time.
He's great too. I mean, he does listen to you, and he gives you revisions even after he does listen to you and then makes the changes. So
So that process is real simple, right? You give him, hey, here's kind of what I'm thinking. This is an idea of what a plan I want. I want to move this, do that. He'll bring it back to you. You get a revision. Then it's final. We go from there, right? It just adds time to the process, is why I can't stand it. But yeah, so other than that, it's time to build a house, right? So what do you want to say to kind of wrap this one up so we can kind of get out of here?
I've got to, I know all these things. I know it is a science. I know, what's important, pretty much I know what's important to me, and I know that there are other people that think the same thing. So I'm really trying to pick the perfect plan out there. And I think the square footage is somewhere around 3,000. Let me go back. Let me make it about 27, 28 to like 33. That's like the perfect house plan. That gets you the bedrooms that you need, the bathrooms you need, the bonus room, without having too many bedrooms upstairs. And
there again, though, that's for our family. We have 2 children and a dog, and, we're 2 grown folks.
Yeah.
But as far as like, it may not be ideal, may not be perfect for people who are downsizing, or people that are, have more kids than that or whatever, So, I mean, there's definitely.
And here's 2 little houses.
Here's
Here's a copy of a picture of one of the homes that we made. This particular floor plan is a great floor plan, and we'll probably build it again, but it's custom. It does have a bonus room. Huge living room in this house, though. But I would like to have another bedroom on a plan. And then here's another picture of a house that we built. Bonus room, 4 bedrooms in that house.
4 bedrooms and a bonus.
Yeah. And
right.
I would like for the living room to be a little bit bigger. We will build this house plan again because it's a great house plan too. I guess I just got to decide and move on. But I'm sure, there are other people that have, and I do enjoy it. I truly do enjoy looking at house plans. So if you are a bit of a dreamer and you enjoy looking at house plans too.
And bumping out walls.
All right, guys. So I hope that I can pick a plan in the next few days. And I know you really do, because
it's time to get started.
I know.
So thanks for bringing these in for show and tell today.
Yes.
We appreciate that.
I know. You're welcome.
And if you guys have thoughts or comments about what you like in square footage, comment that down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this content. We would love to have you as a subscriber on our channel. We'll try to put some content out every week to kind of just keep going down the path and helping you learn about home building and real estate.
Thanks for listening to the House Guy and Home Girl podcast, your #1 source for all things home. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our YouTube page for video content from the show.